by the State Board of Texas Association of Addiction Professionals and appointed to the board as well as a Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Chairperson. She is a current past president of the organization. She is a founder and ministry leader of a private practice, New Life Counseling Education, and is the author of Every Pair of Eyes Has a Story, which was published in 2021. Please welcome Dr. Kimberly Scales.
Good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Kimberly Scales, as she said. And first of all, I would like to thank Ms. Wanda Bither, the Castleberry ISD, as well as the River Oaks Lions Club for inviting me out to speak today. Little nervous this morning, which is kind of unusual for me. But what the subject matter is so important. I am currently the Deputy Director for North Texas Addiction Counseling and Education, which is located in Lake Worth. We also have an office in Weatherford and one in Arlington. And we primarily provide services for adults who are struggling with drug addiction. In our Lake Worth office and our Weatherford office, we offer what we call medicated assisted treatment services, which allow for people of 18 years or older to receive either buprenorphine or methadone in order to help them to overcome their addiction to opioids. And that's where fentanyl comes in a lot that we see. When I first started before COVID, fentanyl was not a big thing. Even the statistics show that from 2011 to 2016, only about 2,600 deaths each year occurred from fentanyl, whether that was accidentally or through medical. Because there are two types of fentanyl. Fentanyl that is prescribed, usually for people in severe pain, or maybe cancer treatment or surgical procedures. And then there is illegal fentanyl, which is being created and manufactured through some of our eastern countries as well as in Mexico. So there was not a lot of fentanyl. After COVID, though, we started seeing more people show up, and they were testing positive on their entrance drug screens for fentanyl. But they didn't know that they were taking fentanyl. They were showing up saying, oh, I was using heroin, or I was using methamphetamines, or I was using marijuana. I've never used fentanyl in my life. And we found out that fentanyl was being placed in all kinds of drugs, whether it was ecstasy, methamphetamines, cocaine, heroin, whatever. It was being entered in through other drugs. I often will tell patients or people who say, man, I didn't know that, I don't know how that got there. How could that have happened? I said, well, drug dealers aren't regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, and they do not often care about cross-contamination. So therefore, if they've just finished, mixing up a batch of one thing, they just put the other thing right on top of that same table. And so there's all kinds of ways that it could have come into play. So that we saw was an increase in what we called fentanyl overdoses, but they are no longer calling it that. Thanks to a lot of the legislation that we are passing, they are now calling those fentanyl poisonings, simply because somebody is being introduced to a substance that they didn't ask for. It would be like you or I going somewhere. We used to, at a certain age, we used to go out to the club, and if you walked off and left your drink and somebody put something in it, then that's a poisoning. You didn't know that. That's not what you came or asked for, right? And so now it's called fentanyl poisonings rather than fentanyl overdoses necessarily. Fentanyl, as I said, is a synthetic opioid that is up to 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. It is illicitly manufactured and available on the drug market in different forms, including liquid and powder. Fentanyl is extremely dangerous, and many people may be unaware that they are using it. It can be injected, it can be snorted, it can be smoked. A lot of our kids, some of the street names that are being used, because one of the things that we do know is that a lot of the fentanyl poisoning and fentanyl deaths are happening to our youth. I have heard so many stories of mothers and fathers who walked into their children's rooms only to find they have overdosed on fentanyl. I have heard where college students who are studying for exams asked a friend, do you have an Adderall? And they thought they were getting an Adderall, and it was fentanyl, and they died. The slogan is one pill can kill. It takes it's so minute. And if you come this evening to the presentation this evening, I will have slides and things and really kind of go a little bit more in depth in what we are really facing. Fentanyl is definitely on the rise. And not only are we dealing with fentanyl, but we're now seeing fentanyl along with xylazine. And xylazine is actually a animal tranquilizer. And so they're mixing these two together, and the xylazine can actually begin to destroy and eat up skin and cells, and veins, and people have very ugly sores that are hard to heal because of the xylazine. We are very fortunate where that we have on staff, on site at our clinic who are able to, and all of the staff are able to recognize a fentanyl overdose and what to do with a fentanyl overdose. How many in this room is familiar with a show of hands? Great, 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 great. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Did y'all miss all of that? No, I'm just kidding. I got to start up. No, I'm just kidding. Really, I am at the end. If you would like, if anybody has any, I can take a few questions right now. If you have any questions, need any information, anybody? Ooh, either y'all or y'all know everything that you need to know, and I've taught you well. Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am. We have seen as young as 13, 13 at least, you know. And the thing about the research, this is the research of the people who actually died. It's not necessarily the research behind those who survived, who were brought back from an overdose. Yes. It's really heartbreaking. It is to see a mother or a father that has lost a child to fentanyl or some type of overdose. It's devastating because they just don't understand why and what happened. When I left them, they were in their room listening to their earphones or playing their game, and I came in this morning and they were gone. That's hard. That's extremely hard. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. I do not believe so. But that's, again, a reason why we want to call 911, because all of our police officers, firemen, all of our EMTs have it, and they can administer it. Certain schools, it's kind of like the AED machines. Some of them have it, some of them don't, and not everybody knows where it's at or how to use it. Yeah. Give yourselves a hand. Yes. That's awesome, because it's not. I just went in our last legislative session back in April, and we did not win the fight, of course, but we had been kind of really pressing for the fentanyl strips so that people are able to test medications to make sure of what it is. And I know that that's a touchy subject for a lot of people, because it's not like you're condoning the use, but it's definitely something that could be utilized, even if you have, like you were saying, you have the equipment, the things on hand here, but what if your nurse came across some type of medication, or students were caught with some type of medication? How would we know what it is, really? You know what I mean? And because you can handle fentanyl, and it can kill you. That's how powerful it is. So you have to be very, very careful. It would be nice to be able to know if what I'm picking up, so please, if you do happen to run into that type of situation, make sure before you handle any types of medications that you put on some gloves, because it can be that powerful. Those are great questions, because it brought out some more information that I had kind of jogged there. I am very proud, I'm getting ready to close, I'm very, very to work for North Texas Addiction Counseling and Education. I brought with me today Miss Hayden Eicher, if she'll stand or wave a hand there. She is one of our administrative and marketing personnel. And then Miss Brittany Green. She is a part of our STOP prevention program. She's over that, and that allows us to go out anywhere and provide education on Narcan, how to use it, all of that, and try to help get people into treatment. So she goes, she has people that reaches out to hospital emergency rooms and all that kind of good stuff. And then last but not least, our CEO, who you all can be very proud, is a Castleberry ISD student from elementary all the way through high school, our leader, Lisa Nelson. I'm proud because it is not often that a person who has gone through your school system comes back and gives back. And she does that in this community in a big way, and trying to make sure that we are safe and that the stigma of alcohol, drug use is removed. A lot of people, struggle with addiction. And I'm looking in this room right now, and I can guarantee you that everybody at the table knows at least one person, whether that's in their family or a close friend, that struggles with alcohol or drug addiction or some type of mental illness. And so it's so important that they get help and they get the help that they need from a loving and caring environment, and a non-judgmental environment. So that I will see some of you again this evening at 6:15 at Marsh Middle School, Irma Marsh Middle School. I am, again, so thankful to you all for allowing me to come out and share just a little bit about the dangers of fentanyl and the importance that we get the message out. Thank you again.